What an exciting weekend last weekend, but now you get an angry Nick Saban. I can't imagine him losing last weekend to Ole Miss makes your job any easier this week. How does that game impact the one you expect to see on Saturday?
Well, I think, as is in the case, Alabama is a very good football team, no matter if they're coming off a win or a loss. They haven't lost many games under Nick, but for us, it's about what Arkansas does. We obviously got to execute the run game that you already talked about. We got to be able to throw when we have to and understand when that occurs. Defensively, we got to be able to play solid against them and be effective in special teams. So it's really, we got to play Alabama, but it's about what Arkansas does.
You need a complete game, it sounds like. You didn't skip a unit there. Nick Saban hasn't lost back-to-back in the SEC since 2007. What's your biggest concern when you look at his team?
Well, I think first off, they've got great players all over the field, great players that are coached very, very well. But, you know, for us, we got to be able to take advantage of things that we see on film, some of the things that Ole Miss obviously saw as well, but on the same account, we got to correct the things that caused us to lose in a very, very close A&M game, caused us to lose to Auburn. We'll win our SEC game when we deserve it, and we're fortunately working for that every day, and I think it's going to come sooner than later.
Yeah, last year you were 3-9. This year you already have 3 wins. You're 3-2. You mentioned they're looking for the win in the SEC. What do you like best about your turnaround? Where's your team most improved in year 2?
Well, without a doubt, I think the things that we practice Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday are what we're seeing on Saturday. Our guys are playing with physicality. They're understanding what we're asking them to do. A lot of times, before the coaches can even make a correction, the players understand what they did wrong. But more than anything, I think our players believe in what we're doing. They expect to have success and obviously respect Alabama and all that it brings to the table, but to play them in our house, we got a stripe out going on, so the crowd should be very interactive with a 5 o'clock kickoff, should have plenty of activities leading up to then to have everybody pretty excited for the game.
Yeah, activities that get everybody excited. That's always good for the crowd. Hey, the SEC West, though, is where you live now, Coach, and you mentioned it. You lost to Auburn in overtime to A&M, and yet you still have Alabama, Georgia, Mississippi State, LSU, even though it's a down year, it's LSU, and Ole Miss and Missouri. Can you possibly compare your life in the Big Ten or elsewhere? Describe to everybody how it compares to living in the SEC West.
Well, I think just by the pure information that's been put out there, we are in the SEC West. We're the only team that's not ranked. To kind of put it in perspective, we beat a Northern Illinois pretty handedly, but they had beaten Northwestern, who obviously is off to a good start in the Big Ten. So it kind of puts in perspective. But obviously, college football is who plays well every given Saturday. I think the SEC West, the SEC in general, is exactly why we moved here. We moved here to play in the best league there is in college football, and fortunately we're getting that every week, and now we got to earn our spot to be able to be talked about.